Hello, and we're live. It's Thursday. You're listening to Let's Drone Out. We have no Frank. Frank has abandoned us. He
So all
is
pretense of organisation has left us.
guzzling Polish sausage left, right, and centre. And
That's just according to his Instagram posts.
Yeah. We are joined by everyone's favourite curry kitten, Tricopter
Hello.
Daddy, the Pied Piper of unwanted children, Stephen.
Hello. I don't fly, but I do automate my home.
Yep. You're having woes of just you want to be left alone in a park and fly a little mini quad.
Absolutely awful. Like I'll go over to the other side of the park and think I'll fly like this tiny quad that should be invisible, like a 2.5-inch thing that's like a 3S model. It's just tiny. And from like 200 meters away, these eagle-eyed children who are like 8 years old can spot it's a quad, and they all come running over, and there's like 10 or 12 of them at a time going, "Can I have a go? Can I have a go? Can I have a go?" And I can't even land it without like, dinging one of these irritating little people. And so I have to like calmly and explain to them what it is and give them this whole like spiel. To be fair, I have down now. So I give them the spiel, explain that I built it and how it works and do it as quickly as possible, and then explain to them that, no, actually, I'd quite like to land it, and if I could please have some space and please step away. Thank you very much. Okay. No, it's actually quite difficult to fly, but ask your parents about it. Tell them that you want an FPV drone, and I'm sure they'll be happy to get you one, and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Tell the parents to go look on Banggood and just, give their parents all the pain so that I don't have to deal with it because they're the parents. And just try and land it as safely as possible. Most of the time they're good enough, and once they get the whole spiel and I'm not angry or irate, they'll like back off and let me land it. But it's that moment of terror when you're like busy doing a few acro flips and rolls, thinking you're all alone in the world, and you see like this fucking tiny throng of like, it's like a zombie invasion, except they're all like 8 or 10-year-olds sprinting across the field, waving their arms in the air, and you're
Yeah, that's not fun.
It's a bit much.
We're also joined by my poor good friend who has berated me for not using a proper GoPro mount, followed by arguments of orientation by GPS only. I do apologize. I have good sides. I have a lot of bad sides. That's what.
Hello, howdy.
It's Cole. It's Koala FPV. Which I have to get used to calling you soon.
That's okay.
Yes, and I am Brighton Till I Fly, the Shogun enthusiast. Would you like some updates on how that's going?
Is yes the right answer?
Vintage Tricopter World.
I think I may have got some updates earlier, which made me sort of smile.
So the string and doping and so forth, how's all that going? Do you think you'll be able to cross the channel if you get enough height in a headwind?
No, it's still pretty much in a box. I now own the gimbal, but I don't own the correct quad. They sent me a fiberglass one V1 instead of V2. So I've got a gimbal, but I haven't got the correct.
For listeners and indeed hosts who may have less than perfect memory, Jack, what are you trying to construct here?
Something from the past. I'm trying to bring a Shogun, which
now expand on that, because that sounds like maybe some kind of Japanese gadget from the early 90s.
It's an amazing quad that folds to be only this big.
Yeah, let's show the people. We got to show the people.
Show and tell.
I'll show.
Ignore the people on the audio podcast.
It's either an amazing quad that folds or it's a raspberry flavored wafer.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that is it. Has a gimbal. It's got arms that twist.
It says it's crash resistant arms. Well,
I like to test that.
That's a bold move.
Yeah.
By the time Jack gets done with it, it will be called a shoe gone.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to put a Nazar in it.
Those look like the old flame wheel arms. Is that the kind of shtick we're talking about here?
Yeah, it's kind of that era.
They've got that like that look to them,
Jack, because that would be authentic.
No.
How many reasons do we want?
But there it is. It's very. It can
Oh, it
go
folds
very
in the middle of
compact.
the arms, not even just.
That fold.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're asking for
So they
trouble.
sent you the wrong one, Jack.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's going on with that?
I've got to wait for a new one, and
So they
pay
sent you
even
a
more.
worse model than the original
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great fun. Really, it's highly.
What are you going to
tedious.
do with it? What are you going to do?
I'm going to try and not put a NASA in it, and then try
Right.
and figure out the pin outs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I might run the Easy OSD, depending on whether I can get. I might
So
not.
I'm
And the
looking
Hero
ahead.
4 on the
Jack,
gimbal.
because you're going to build something that's going to be superior to a modern 5-inch FPV quadcopter in almost every way. And
Totally.
what are you going to do with it once you've built that?
Wait a
Look
minute.
at
If he's going to
Learn-
put Easy OSD on it, then he has to run Easy UHF. It must be in the rule book.
No, unless you're buying it.
Are the words Dragon Link heading
Coward.
towards this conversation?
No, definitely not.
I've got a Dragon Link.
Crossfire.
Want to borrow it?
No, because it involves wrapping every cable with the tinfoil.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
you're going
but
to
you
be
get-
putting
you get one
plenty
of those
around your
great big
hats.
antennas.
Surely you've got
If you move your
spare.
control, it all flingy flangs around. It's
Oh
cool.
god, it's the worst. Yeah, it's gonna basically be a massive oversized quad with nothing in it, and I'm just gonna.
Gimbal.
What are we talking, 2S, or are you going to really pull out the stops and go 3S?
That
Four.
gimbal,
4S.
that's going to be built for like a
Oh,
GoPro
mama.
2, isn't it?
4. Jack apparently has a 4 still.
I
He's gonna-
know I used to. I'll
Oh.
get a 4.
He's gonna go out of his way to get a 4 for this.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that will be the FPV cam as well, though, as the HD cam, or
Yeah.
Now,
I'll
are
have
you
it
going to, when you fly this, are
separate.
you going to dress period as well? Are you going to go back to like 2013? You're going to go back and find the band T-shirts and stuff
yes,
you're wearing
we need
then?
the 2013 Jack in full attire.
You have to buy like a flight test shirt.
Yeah. Flight test shirt, some kind of
Original.
original Rotor Riot shirt, maybe.
Row Ride didn't
We-
exist back then.
Oh, man.
We
In
can have a quad
2013, Jack wasn't into drones back then, was he?
14.
I can bring my massive
Maybe some old
quad that
Ghost
I
in the
showed
Shell
other week
T-shirts.
and fly it against you.
What's that, Curry?
Well,
I said I
if you
could bring
fly
my
into
massive
him, you
quad I
might be able
showed
to
the other
stop him
week.
on this voyage before he wastes
And
more
we
money.
can have like an old quad off.
Yeah.
An old quad off.
Tack and old cameras on gimbals, and my one will have an ASA in it. So
And you've
it's
got to see who
slightly
can record
unpredictable.
the smoothest footage of a lap round a field. All right. And then be absolutely trounced by someone who just rocks up with a GoPro on a regular 5-inch quad.
And I'd be doing it properly because my GoPro, although mine was set up for a GoPro 4, which is the shittiest GoPro I've ever had.
I think that's a bit
Possibly
recent,
some
isn't
other
it?
action camera.
GoPro 4, isn't that a bit too... That's slightly too recent. I think you probably want to go back a bit further than a GoPro 4, don't you?
No, because I had that hooked up to it.
Okay.
I think mine was still about 10 years ago, but it existed, and I had the little USB interface that I flew through that camera as well as recorded on it. That's how hardcore I am. So
That is
Jack has to do it
hardcore.
that way.
Yeah, I've got
It's
the cable.
fine unless you want to look at the ground and the sun's out, in which case it's just what's that black stuff? It's probably the ground.
Dynamic range. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be like, Cole, can you tune this camera for me? He's going to be like, "Rah."
This is going to be like classic car rallies in a few years' time. You watch it. Those old boys who are out there polishing their chrome and stuff, that's going to be you.
We'll be at the air shows instead of these sandal guys flying these like World War II scale models. It'd be like, now we've got something special. We've got an F450 with an original NASA in it. Let's see if it
These
returns
guys
to
with
China
hearing
or
aids.
you can fly it.
With
Windows
old
11.
flight test shirts shouting at each other really loudly. Complaining
Windows,
about their red bottom motors.
yeah, red bottom. Yeah, they added firmware that like blocked the video out of the later ones. I know.
What?
Dick.
Why? Oh, the newer. Oh, yeah.
Because
Because-
GoPro.
GoPro wanted to sell you their drone, which was such a massive success.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why
Nobody can
everyone's
get
using
hold of one of those
GoPro drones to this day, Curry.
exactly.
It's funny how it was called the Karma as well, eh?
Oh god.
Irony out of 10.
Yeah, people who bought those had to then return them, and then they gave them a GoPro Hero 5 as compensation for free.
Oh,
Yeah.
like we're sorry that this drone did
Falls
not.
out the sky and
We're sorry that
you.
we suck. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
that's interesting. I'm surprised that they would have like at least taken away that. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. They did take away features on the Hero 5 session through firmware updates too.
Yeah, the dicks.
There's some attempts at legislation to try and stamp out that, because it's one of the most evil practices in modern consumer goods. The ability to
you pay for something and
launch something which is revolutionary that everyone wants, and then the company decides that actually the best way to monetize that is to cut the product range in half and limit that feature to their premium tier products, and they can remove it by software update from a bunch of products and then make you pay extra. And it's the most venomous and disgusting business practice.
Well, it happened with the
or these days they turn it into a subscription in many ways. So you see, instead of it just being a built-in feature, you're now on the hook for X amount per month to go and use that.
Yeah, the DJI Mini 2, it was like, okay, they discontinued the Mini 2, then they came out with like the Mini 2 SE, which was the Mini 2, but it only shot in like 2K instead of 4K now. But it was a slightly cheaper price point. Maybe it didn't have the LED or something. And then same with the Mini 3 Pro came out. Well, Mini 4 Pro was coming out, but they discontinued Mini 3 Pro and they gave you the Mini 3, which is just a dumbed down version of the Mini 3 Pro.
Caroline Tyler beat me to it. BMW did this with their heated seats. You literally have a subscription for heated seats. Why do you have a subscription? Are the heated seats changing every month? Of course they're bloody not, but they can make you pay, so they do.
Yeah, Louis Rossmann, that's a good guy to, if you want to hear about all this crap and how much he gets annoyed by this stuff. Yeah, he talks about that a lot.
Yeah,
stuck behind paywalls.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, and there's no excuse for it.
Buy the car, you bought a license to drive it.
Yeah.
So my car actually is like that. So I've got a remote starter built into my car. I can only access it if I pay monthly for the app. And the only way that I can see my TPMS tire pressure sensor values is through the app that I have to pay the subscription for, unless I go out with a physical gauge and put it on the thing. I can't go through like the little menus.
Isn't it? It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Especially features like that where ostensibly, other than providing a good level of security for their app, which is table stakes, if that, you are paying nothing. There's no value that you obtain per month other than being able to do something that should be trivial to do. And they could limit it so that you walk up to the car and you're within range of the car and you provide a high level of security. Your phone has a certificate, the car has a certificate. There's no risk of anyone, doing anything short of beating you around the head with a pipe and taking your phone, which they could just as well take your car keys at that point. There's no reason that has to be a subscription service other than they've managed to get in the middle between you and your car and find a way to make you pay. By making it a cloud service, even though realistically you're checking your tire pressure, you're probably quite near the car at that point.
Here's Jack's crash.
Jack weren't having a good day.
Oh man, is that just the lens or the whole thing?
Yeah. But it
like
turns out they're
really
expensive. Yeah, it turns out they're really expensive nowadays. So
can't you just heat gun the glass off and pop an aftermarket on?
Might be,
because there used to be people that do aftermarket glass for that one.
Though. You can replace the whole, like, I actually have one here. You just take those screws off and you can just replace the whole thing. I mean, maybe you can find just the glass and like sticky it in.
You got to unscrew the JST and knocked off a shunt resistor as that as well.
Yeah.
So current meters F-bar.
There's a TVS diode, I guess.
It's diode.
Oh, is it TVS?
TVS diode. It turns out I was flying this quad without any nuts on, or failing that, I crashed so hard that all four of them popped off.
Yeah, it seems like
that's not possible.
I don't think that's possible.
No.
To be fair, you get a fair amount of friction with the gummies if they're jammed down tight.
But
you redid the JST, you hero.
And
Yeah.
the diode too. It looks like
Yeah.
stock,
yeah,
basically.
but never mind that. That JST, that's a fiddly little
Yep.
BITCH.
It does feel like I was coaxing it back to life. It was like I had to say nice things about it, and it
Yeah.
like at each step things wouldn't work, and then they would work, and then slowly, yeah. I'm a
Right.
motor down. I've
One of the motor outputs is dead, or the motor's gone?
no, just a really dented a motor, and it wasn't. Dan turned to me and said, like, you caused all that damage. You weren't even going that fast. And I was like, yep. It was one of the slowest into
Just
the
wrong
wall.
angle.
Wait, we got to see the footage now, man.
Yeah, what the
You
hell
gotta
did
show
you
the
hit
footage.
if you're going
There's
slow?
no.
It must-
I didn't turn my GoPro on.
DVR.
DVR?
Oh,
Come
God.
on,
You
just
want
do it.
DVR.
Everyone knows
Just like
you've
Nike.
got DVR, mate. You can't.
Yeah,
lie.
you can't hide.
know
You can
got
run,
it.
but you
We
can't
can see
hide.
your eyes. We can see your eyes, mate. We know you got that.
Hopefully, I've got a habit of like not switching it on. If it, I had a bit of a.
You also have the habit of pressing record for 3 minutes and say your quad sitting on the ground before you actually take off.
I just got to sit there and take that. He's valid in that argument.
Sends me
can't-
footage. Jack sends me footage to adjust, and there's like 3
you know
minutes
what?
of nothing at the beginning, and then there's like 17 minutes of nothing at the end.
Jessica was like, "Yeah, don't upload that."
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Nah.
that's
Drafts.
a complete waste of your time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Paul.
okay. I enjoyed looking at it. The 30 seconds out of 17 minutes of it that was usable.
Well,
love
not
you,
even
Jack.
that. He had
I love you,
to
Jack.
fight for that. He had to
I did.
fight.
I
Because
did.
You guys.
I'm now a session mount.
Oh yeah.
I'm
So
not too sure about that. Carry on.
I
Cole.
basically I peered pressure Jack into not using a hard TPU mount wedge to hold his session because he's getting like insane vibrations through his quad while he's flying, and I peer pressured him into actually 3D print an actual 3D print for his GoPro.
Yeah.
He was very
'Cause
reluctant.
He has a 3D printer. I mean, for
Is this
what?
why Jack said to me
If
earlier
not
today, do
camera
you have any
mounts.
tips on TPU printing? And I said, my one just prints.
Just
Yeah.
go really
Wasn't happy
slow,
about it.
really
Well,
damn slow.
That's what
I don't
he
have
figured it
DVR.
out.
Yeah.
And bump the heat on the first layer so it sticks onto the bed nicely. And that's it. Done.
Yeah, no,
It
he
is
figured it out
normally
though.
very sticky. You don't really
Yeah.
have adhesion problems on TPU. It's just like
I don't
getting it
have
off is more of a
I
problem.
don't even have DVR of it. I swear to God.
The one thing I'd say for TPU, smaller printers rock because like everyone was saying, oh, TPU can't do it. I had like a weird dinky printer with 3 arms that was like it was a circular print area instead of and then that thing
one of those ones with the wires that move
now I
the
can't
thing
reach
around.
it. But anyway, it's got 3 arms. So there's like the print head
Delta.
has 3 arms. So it's Delta. And then I moved to the little Voron Mini. And both of those are like, if I really crank it, it'll do like 10 centimeters a second TPU. It's
Wow.
quite happy doing like 7. And the
Have you
big
got a
ones seem to
Voron
get a lot of
Zero
issues.
then?
For 0.1 or whatever. Yeah, it's just over there.
No way. I'm still
There.
trying to build my Voron.
There it is. It's an
Oh,
absolute
God.
beast for TPU. Just
Yeah.
cranks it out.
I had been looking at the A1 Mini, and
A printer
if I'm-
for ants?
if I'm willing to do the rabbit hole of 3D printing, I want the smallest and most I can throw it in the closet sort of scenario.
But if you're doing drone stuff, there's just no reason because you can't print drone like arms and stuff. It's just a hiding to nothing. So all you're going to be doing is you're going antenna mounts, camera mount. Camera mount's the biggest thing you're going to be doing, and then like arm guards, motor guards, and those are all tiny pieces. So you need at most like a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter build area. That'll do your GoPro mount. That's the biggest thing you've got to do. Everything above that, you're just like introducing extra vibration modes into the structure so that when your print head moves fast, the whole printer is more likely to start vibrating. So you keep it small and then everything's like locked in and it doesn't ring and you get better print quality on the small prints when you're going fast.
Yeah, it's well. The one thing I noticed is that the with the A1 Mini 3D printer, it's pretty cheap. It's like $250 Canadian. But then if you want to get the little combo thing that comes with the AMS light, which I guess is probably like the little holder for the filaments, it's like $450. But surely there's a workaround where you could just get the cheapo one and then. But
Wow.
I don't know.
Karen, you put an impressively long link in the chat, but I feel compelled to click on it because I work in IT. And I have no sense of security. Let's see what that is.
External content. DuckDuckGo.
Okay. Is it a tub? A girl with a tub? You say?
What is the content?
For some reason, all my videos are like 5 seconds long, except one of them. One of them recorded all right.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Weird.
This must be
On the-
Caroline
on the
Tyler's
session?
tiny cheap printer. That looks cool.
Yeah, no DVR on my goggles for some reason. I just don't.
Was the SD card filling up?
Don't think so. No, it's pretty empty.
So if I can make a call, like if you don't have a 3D printer in current year, like just follow Caroline's advice. I think she even reviewed a couple, and just there's stuff that's under 100 local currency units, and you can get it next day delivery on Amazon. And we're not talking about a 3-month boat from China. You can find something next day for under 100 of whatever your units are, and it'll probably do TPU. And if it doesn't, try printing a little bit slower.
Yeah.
And then you've got your antenna mounts. Forget about waiting 2 weeks to get an antenna mount or a camera mount. And just cook it up, and it'll be there the next day at the very latest.
Yeah.
I'm also very impressed with Caroline's. She's a food dehydrator in order to dry her filament, and I'm like,
really?
It's pretty. That's got to be.
Also,
That's cool.
I've got a filament dryer as well.
There's one there. Again, like they're not expensive items. You can do a food dehydrator, and I think it works if you're in certain places where food dehydrators are plentiful. But when I looked, that was actually like the same price as buying a food dehydrator, or within a couple of quid of it. So I just got one of those, and it's got like a programmable temperature thing on the side, and you dial in a temperature and a time, and it's got a 12-volt barrel jack on the other side, and then just let it dry for a while. TPU does suck up moisture, and if you spot the surface looking all rough, or you can hear a popping noise, that's a dead giveaway when it's printing and it's going pop, 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 pop. That's moisture bursting out the filament. If you get that, just let it dry for a while. You can dry it in the oven, but obviously that's a bit of a risk because your oven does go high enough to completely destroy your spool. But if you get a dehydrator or one of those puppies, it's not a fast process, but if you give it at least a 2-hour head start before you start printing, it'll get the worst of it off. Or if you're really determined, you can give it like a 6-hour blast and completely dry it out. And it does a lot for print quality as well as avoiding jamming, because the print head, if it has too much moisture in it, it's actually going to change the diameter of the filament quite a lot, and that'll cause the very bendy TPU filament to be even more prone to jamming than it already is. So
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I learned all these things because I was like hearing popping noises, and some of my prints were like really rough, and trial and error. I'm not.
I'm well impressed you got a Voron.
Yeah, it's cute. This is fail. I can't claim to build it. Failsafe built it, but it's an absolute little beast. It's lovely.
It's got a cool name.
Yeah,
it does have a cool name.
It is the 3D printer that you can build with a 3D printer. So
yeah.
It sounds like a character from Blake 7. I think I'm the only one old enough to actually comment on that.
It's got like a Raspberry Pi built in the back and runs Moonraker and everything. It's lovely.
Clipper.
It almost sounds like a location or like a person in like Lord of the Rings or something.
Yeah.
I have Voron.
And just because it's self-built doesn't mean you can't have an app to control it. It's got a full-on phone app to do remote Moonraker and things, and works great.
I did not know that was a thing, Andy. Can you send me that?
Oh yeah.
No, it's
Ah,
a vacuum
desiccant.
kit
Yeah.
with
But,
desiccant.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, what is that? The
Yeah.
bags, the vacuum
just-
bags. Yeah,
if you've got loads of
I
if you've
know.
got loads of desiccant kicking around, that'll do the trick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, Sonny
don't-
Bean is just
There's
home.
Swanee,
Lost their
Swanee.
quad in a wheat field.
Oh no,
indeed.
Wheat
dude.
fields are murder to find things in. But
Yeah.
where's your external beeper, which will beep even if your battery comes off?
Yeah.
What's the V?
13 videos on these things, people. Use them.
Otherwise, your only
Yeah.
hope is to spot the toasty smelling plume that goes up when the battery catches fire.
Oh man, that's tough. Especially at this time of
We
year, they're
saw-
fairly tall, right?
At one of the meets we were at, we had like a wing that was over a meter go down. We saw it go down in the wheat field. We like 30 guys walking up and down, could not find it. It was found when the farmer used a combine harvester, and it wasn't in too bad a shape to say it's gone for a combine harvester. It was returned. No wing went
That's very nice.
reclaimed, but
Returned,
yeah, it was a
but
bit
not
knackered.
necessarily in flying condition.
not necessarily in a single piece. Yeah.
That was. Oh, sorry, Carl.
That's okay,
All
buddy.
right. At the first mini air show that I went to, that happened. A TBS, TBS disco went down, and they were combining the wheat field, and I done the whole like remove my antennas and covered it in my hands and went like that, and then as soon as you got a picture where you were facing it, so I would like lose here and I'd lose here and I would go, guys, it's there, and they kind of honed in on it and then they found it. And I remember I was with Ed and that if we went and helped the guy, and I found it with the whole triangle, and that's when I learned that trick. If it still had the VTX, you're able to cover it with your hands and with no antenna, and then when you get a picture and it will lead, you kind of like.
I think that's easier with wings than quads because my VTX would normally either die from lack of battery or just overheat and crap.
Yeah, it's not going to work with digital, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well,
Also with
crashed
wings,
into
you've
a
got massive
field.
batteries, and the VTX is nice and externally cooled and not just jammed in a stack. Sorry, you're saying, Cole?
I was just saying, yeah, I remember when I crashed in I guess it was technically a cornfield, but it was like a halfway through the season cornfield. Or was it an early in the season cornfield? I can't remember what time of year it was. Yeah, that was actually not fun. And luckily, I mean, I think we talked about it on the episode when it happened, but yeah, a wheat field is usually a lot more dense than a cornfield, I think, and you can't really like see through it or like, yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
blanket.
Rapeseed is another thing that's insane. It's so dense.
Lovely
You
color
can't
oilseed rape, but you can't see a bloody thing.
Yeah,
No.
and it's hard to walk through as well.
Yeah, it's we had this thing. I was with like Luke Bannister when he was about 13, and he'd been given this Kaiparana, that TBS wing.
Oh yeah,
Capina.
It went down in the field, and so I was showing him the thing with the use your antenna, we locate it, and he literally, like a small rat, was sort of going through this thing. Somehow got it because I couldn't get through. It was too big. He got the wing back, but he lost his GoPro, so we couldn't find that.
Yeah, that's the worst.
But yeah, it's murder, rapeseed. I've like landed on top of it because I was like, oh, this is a nice soft landing, and it was only like 10 feet away, and I'm just trying to get through this stuff, and it's like going through treacle.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah.
Happens
It's funny that you
to
guys
the-
call it that because everybody, well, my dad used to call it that because he grew up in the middle of nowhere, Alberta, but then now it's canola. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just called. It just gets turned into vegetable oil, generic vegetable oil. But yeah, oilseed rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to have sex crimes named after our fields.
Plants. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know where the name comes from, but yeah.
We also have like sexual assault barley and other things.
Don't ask about the cabbages.
Swanee, what are you saying? Merthyr died the other day, and it's my fault for not flying. I taped
that's
my
mother.
phone to the. Huh?
Take my
Mother.
phone to the bottom.
I taped my phone to. Oh, what? I had words with the farmer's wife and was told to keep to the tractor's tracks. What?
Tram lines.
Oh yeah, because you don't want to wreck the farmer's
He
frickin'.
but he
crop.
wasn't flying, and his mother died.
He was. The beeper died. I don't know. Swanee, you're not making sense.
Does
Your
that mean
flying
Sasha's
didn't have
phone as
some
well?
horrible. Did he?
Type that
Were the
into.
two events related?
Yeah.
Huh.
I hope not.
The beeper
So-
died.
type the whole story into ChatGPT and then ask ChatGPT, can you make this make sense?
I think
And
it's
then
summed up
copy and
here with
paste that
the
back
beeper
here.
died.
It's just Bright, a real person. If you are, just go on the ELRS Discord. I mean, yeah, that we had a guy on here who is, he deals with these problems all the time. Just go on their Discord. They're lovely people, and they will have seen 100 people with exactly the problem.
It is impressive though, because if you're spent months trying to arm with Express LRS and you're still trying, it's like, man, that is some.
That's dedication right there.
For
Yeah,
real.
it's
The
like-
Discord is full of very helpful people, and
But yeah, the Discord will sort you out.
Yeah,
Well, FP. You know what?
they've got
I will
video chat
say,
and everything.
FPV is kind of like the hardest thing ever because
Yeah.
if you it's weird though because once you're in it or once you know people that are in it, they always talk about how it's simple. You just do this, you just do this, do this. It's like a list of like 10,000 things, and you just do that. You just do that. It's fine.
You just solder these 20 complex components together in one specific configuration, and then you're off, and it's done. It's not a problem.
Yeah, like setting up your radio easy. You just do that, and I'm like,
I remember when I started, I got that deviation radio, and everyone else had like OpenTX, and it was absolute murder because I was trying to use something that no one else had. I spent a long time before I could even see any kind of joystick wiggling on the radio, like being able to map channels, never mind being able to get it working on the quad. It was an embarrassingly slow process.
See, I'm just lucky that I had Jack because I would have not been in this hobby if it weren't for Jack. Put it that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can give inspiration to people showing how us experts do it. This is me launching my wing. This was a successful launch of a wing. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm
more impressed by your folder library on the left of Final Cut. Oh, it's not showing anything for some reason.
Yeah.
Did it show?
Now we see a still frame that's working.
Oh,
still frame with some transform automation.
Let me just do it in this window, see if it works better.
Just maybe try full screen the sucker.
So is Curry in a field?
Oh, there we go.
Can do it.
Oh, Jesus.
I believe in you, Curry Kizan. I believe in you.
Mate, it looks... Oh, my God.
Well, we've got several frames. I can count the frames.
It's like pixels made of Lego, mate.
Oh, man. It's doing that. It launched, turned over, upside down, and then I managed to take the throttle off, right it again, just as it was coming to the ground. We got it to go upwards, but then I put it into return home and it was okay. But the other launches were terrible. But if that's not showing up for you guys, it's probably not worth looking at.
Yeah,
I saw the first bit of it. It looked like it took a dive though.
It did,
but that
VTX
actually seemed to overheat before I can figure out.
That was the one that worked. Why is my screen not stopping? Stop screen. There we go. But I did have one other little show and tell from that bit. I did make DVR, and this was the wing I showed the other day when I went very fast.
Great success.
That the OSD all went away and it did bad things. So I put a capacitor on it, and the idea was, I'll try another speed run and see what happens this time. And is this one going to show?
People showing some love for Deviation VTX. Yeah, I still got it. Still great. Mine's upgraded with the super primo Radiomaster gimbals and Express LRS now, so it's about as good as it's going to be. And thanks to the patches put in for CRSF, it can run all the LRS stuff. But obviously, it's a bit limited if I want to do anything fancy with it. Oh, my word. Yeah, I've canted about 30 degrees to the left and bouncing up and down like crazy.
This is the super bounce. Yeah, we're just coming in here. We're going to start the full speed run. And something...
Luckily, you're nice and smooth, so it's time to put the throttle up.
Lovely and smooth. Let's put the throttle on. We fixed one problem, but we've developed another. It's that sort of thing. Oh, did I go back too far now?
I'm just expecting a bit of the aircraft to appear in front of the camera and go whizzing off.
Surprisingly not. So it's up to 100% throttle. And we've got a little bit of jittery around there.
A little bit, yeah.
Did the prop explode? And it's just like a concentric weight.
Do you have as many blades on the prop as you had when you started?
Yeah, well, I think it is.
As the cheese that this is assembled with started to melt.
Yeah, right.
I think what happened when I landed, this was kind of, it was on a bit of Velcro and it had come off the Velcro. So I think this was flapping around like this.
Okay.
And that was causing the wing to wobble. But on subsequent interesting launches, where am I? This side, this is some of the ESC wiring that broke off, and it broke the battery strap that it landed on such a clonk. But yeah, that is still a pain in the ass to land. Land and in fact launching is worse.
Caroline Tyler thinks you're just going too fast and the servos aren't up to it. She thinks the rest of the airframe has no quality issues whatsoever. It's purely just the too fast.
Did you write that before or after you saw the quality of assembly from Wayne Andrews? Numbskull, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. Just Bright is building a 3D printed wing.
Yeah, good luck, mate, because that's a one crash operation there.
Mm. And if
3D printed wings look beautiful, but when you land a bit hard or don't take off quite right,
stop using CA. There's something called PLA Go. It's got the same stuff as PVC pipe glue that melts the plastic, so it fuses into one. I just want one person to be like, I printed a plane out of PLA, and I didn't use super glue.
Isn't super glue going to be stronger than the PLA anyway?
I don't know.
A lightweight PLA is your current plain printing stuff of choice. Although I've never tried it. A little bit more dialing in of the printer to use it, I believe.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's as
builds as well.
Terrible in a crash.
Oh, happy birthday, Dominic!
Hey, Dom, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, buddy!
Happy birthday to you!
Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear Dom! Happy birthday to you!
How old are you now?
After we might hang out in the LDO chat and see whether we can get me to understand how you get orientation with a GPS without using the gyro.
Jack is under the Jack has this understanding in his brain that the gyro of the flight controller somehow has something to do with the GPS's arrow position.
It's
somewhat.
Just by forward speed, mate. It only works when you're actually moving, and it just deduces which way you're facing by the vector.
You are here, home
you're now
point.
there.
You're now here.
You're going that way.
Yeah.
Although on quads, of course, you can fly backwards.
Doesn't work so well. On planes, it works well. This is why, it's a plane thing.
Thank you. Yes. If you fly backwards, orientation is just guess it. It's assuming you're.
But no, if
forward.
you start at your home point and fly backwards, then the arrow's still going to point towards getting back to you. Is it not?
Yeah, but the arrow knows the direction. But we're talking about heading, so the direction to home is different to the northeast southwest heading, right? Northeast southwest is.
As long as you occasionally fly forwards, you should get a fairly good look at which way you want to go.
No gyro from flight controller required.
The gross movement tends to be in the direction of the camera by and large if you average it out, and that's what you
Yeah.
what you're up
But
to.
orientation, yeah. You could
Oh,
easily-
sick burn there for Jack.
Yeah, that's actually quite a large hill.
Apparently, Crossfire went wrong or something. That's what the story is.
Bingo, Andy.
Jack's gone.
It's the same
Jack's
thing.
offended.
You ever like put
Jack
your
didn't
phone
wanna
in the
hear what
car
I
and
already
be
told
like,
him
"Oh,
twice
I'm
today."
driving, but should I turn left or right?" And your car can't figure out which way to go because you haven't started moving yet, so it doesn't really have a lock
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Same
saying.
thing.
Yeah. Until you move forward. You need GPS does not guarantee or doesn't really know
Yeah.
your
Well,
orientation.
that's why you have a compass as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
Yeah, you did say that,
magnetometers are
Jack. You
did.
so
All it will do
reliable.
is tell you where you are. And yes, you can triangulate, but it must
These days, just
assume-
get everything, man. Get a flight controller with an onboard barrow. There's loads
Yep.
of them, like DSP 310s, BMP 280s, stuff like this, and
It's
get.
Ultra V2.
I mean, there's probably got one of those two chips on it, and get a compass with a built-in mag, and then most modern flight controller firmware can just take all of this data and it bungs a bit of the barrow data into the GPS to give you more accurate height, and it'll blend the mag with the GPS to give you more accurate heading, and it'll just do that.
The real question is, do you even need all that?
If you can
Yeah.
get it for only a couple of
You need
grams,
to know where the hill is before you fly backwards into it.
it's not going to give you a hill warning.
Make sure
you
you're
need
orientated
a
perfectly.
reverse
fail
parking sensor
safe.
for that.
I fail safe.
You fail
Of course you
safe
did.
into
The
a
hill got between him and the radio.
Just because I don't instantly fall out the
Right,
sky.
Jack. So we can design something for you here with a reverse parking sensor and maybe LiDAR as well, so it beeps if it detects a hill behind you. Beep, 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 beep,
I'm
beep,
done.
beep, beep.
He needs a OSD that's a secondary camera for his backup camera on his
Yeah, yeah.
goggles.
You remember there was a trend a few years back where people did these cheetah quads. So all that stuff that Cricket does where he flies backwards. You're like, oh my word, that's amazing. But you could just cheat and have a camera on the back and a VTX switch. Some of the like Maytech FCs have a toggle switch. But analog is way easier. You can just switch between cameras.
You could use picture in
yeah,
picture.
you can do that trivially. I think even the FC that Jack has two camera inputs, the big fancy Maytech one. I think that
really?
That's
that was
going
one
in
of
the
the things they
Shugon.
used to do. Yeah, yeah. And they had like, there's sometimes in an FC you see user 1 and user 2 as like additional modes that appear. And those are used for things like toggling power on some of the pins. You can switch them on and off from the radio. And there's also sometimes a camera switch. So you have like camera 1 and camera 2 inputs, and those both get looped through the Max 7456 or whatever. And shoved out, so you can toggle C1 or C2 and just have it as a mode. Simple as that.
Stephen, I will need to borrow you after the show because I am stumped. I've got a Foxeer Reaper ESC and I'm using that for my current sense, and it just keeps climbing and doesn't make any sense.
Does your Foxeer Reaper actually have a current sensor on?
Yeah, it's got current shunt on the ESC.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing.
And when you've got a current shunt that comes out of a pin on the ESC, and you have to have a flight controller with a current sensor and
I do.
make sure that's linked in. Okay, and then the ADC, you're definitely reading the ADC as the current reading, and you're not reading something else. Because if you enable ESC telemetry via bidirectional D-shot, then it'll think that bidirectional D-shot is giving you the current sensor, and most of the time that doesn't happen. So you need to override it and say, I'm using the ADC input for the current sensor.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll just get gibberish, because D-shot will be like, there's a number. I haven't got any data. Here, have a number. Yeah, it rarely makes any sense.
Okay, I'll switch it back to ADC.
Yeah.
All right, so now we all have to say current shunt 10 times fast.
Current shunt, current shunt, current shunt, current shunt, current shunt, current shunt. We speak English down here, Andy. English.
Yeah, not vegetable.
Sorry, Andy. Hope you're doing well.
I know.
love you,
We
Andy.
miss you.
Hello, Andy.
I know, it's just totally undone my nice message that I sent him earlier on in the week. You should come on now you're feeling better one of these days, so you can
You are
fight
always
back.
welcome, Andy. Always welcome.
There's a big empty Andy RC hole in LDO that needs to be filled only
Can
by
we
your.
stop right there?
Yeah.
Stop right there.
Made it work.
We already know where that's going. We don't need to make Andy uncomfortable now, Jack.
Oh no. It was nice talking to Frank and hearing about everything that you guys have been getting up to and stuff.
Yeah, we should
And
have a head
hope
tracking
Phil's
special.
car's all right.
Head tracking special with Caroline and Andy would be awesome.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, Andy RC's a great old marketer because Frank bought another head tracker unit.
Yeah, he bought the
He
much
gave
cheaper
up.
one that works. by
Yeah,
the sound of it.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, no. This is a mistake we all make, isn't it? You go for the big fancy one, and then you find out the big fancy one doesn't quite live up to the hype, and the one you want is actually the cheapo community developed one that doesn't have
Yep.
great marketing. There you are.
Yep. Yeah, the same thing applied, but totally different hobby. Was I bought the really expensive lens thinking it's so good. Well, I returned it and got the cheaper third-party one, and it was just as good,
Yeah, there you are.
if not better, because it was way cheaper.
Marketing budgets have a lot to answer for.
Yep.
I know. Andy, how's Phil's car? Is it all right? Is there any news on that? None of the listeners will know what I'm on about, but I think.
And Andy, if you've got any more info on the head tracker, 18 quid, Andy's saying, in reference to the head tracker. It sounds like an absolute bargain. And I think at that price point, people would be a lot more tempted to have a go, especially with all the wireless stuff that's gradually making its way into radios. I think that'd be really interesting for people. So if you are in the mood to share some info and just have a chat about it, doesn't have to be super high production value, obviously. You've seen the show. That would be awesome.
Curry, are you drinking Chardonnay?
Chardonnay?
No, I'm drinking
Ooh.
Prosecco.
Bubbly.
Oh, you're making me
Headache-
feel
Yes,
like
headache.
a
man.
glass of
Oh,
fizz now.
Cultured down
Headache.
here.
Yeah.
Headache in a
Mm.
glass.
Yeah.
Well, not for me. This is since I've switched to drinking just like red wine, Prosecco, and cocktails. No more hangovers. Get rid of
Just
beer.
gout.
Beer's bad. I already had the gout, so just go with that.
Fine.
For some reason, every time people will have a little champagne thing, and I'll take like 2 sips of it, and I'll immediately get a headache every time. So I just don't even do it
Wowzers.
anymore. Yeah.
Not for me. It's lovely.
Even the expensive stuff did it, and I'm like, well, no, thank you. I will stick to my vodka shots.
Hydration. It's all about the hydration, guys. It's what
Yeah.
I've learned down the years. Gotta keep yourself hydrated. Even if
Vodka
you're
with the
boozing.
water chaser. It's Cole's way of getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Andy
Yeah,
has been
so-
helping me with XF stuff because I've got one of their gimbals, which seem to be marketed as saying, yeah, this works with 04 and walk snail and analog. And I got it and I plugged in the MIPI cable and nothing happened. And then Andy's like, it's different pins. I was like, is it? They didn't say that. I was like, is it different pins? And the guy from Banggood talked to XF and he came back and said, no, they said it should work. It should be the same. And then when I talked to them, they said, no, it's different. You need a different cable. So confusion. But hopefully I get a proper cable. I can
But
finally
The
do
XF
something.
head tracker, is it wireless to the radio, or do you need the DSC trainer port cable? It's not really clear from the description here.
Don't know.
I think it does need a plug, doesn't it, into the radio? It appears to imply that, because there's talk of UART and data link cables and things.
It seems like it would need something to get
PPM/UART
into the
data
radio.
output. So I'm guessing that's not wireless.
There's been some work done last time I looked at it, which was a while ago actually, about making a wireless head tracker using the stuff that's in the HD0 goggles, because it's already got like a transmitter in there and stuff for ERS. So you should just be able to talk using the backpack to the radio to do the wireless head tracking that way.
Yeah, That's what I'm hoping, right? That ELRS just democratizes all this, and the price point ends up being like a tenner, and it's the size of a matchbox with a battery included, and you're done. Andy says it does both, but you need radio link, so maybe not. Radio link is like what you find on really cheap RC cars, so not a great idea to start investing in radio link.
I struggled with the whole backpack thing. I think it works. It says
I remember,
SBI.
yeah, 'cause
SBI.
you
in
were
my
asking me
goggles.
questions, and I was like, "Geez, I've forgotten."
Yeah.
I remember
did
I was trying it on something that wasn't compatible with it, and they're like, "No, you either need a rapid fire or this particular module for it." I was just using something else that was based on the module they said worked, but wasn't the plain module. But when I eventually used rapid fire, it worked. But it did take a lot of to and froing with the Discord group, as we mentioned to someone whose name I forget now. If you talk to the lovely people on the Express LRS Discord group, they will give you lots of fantastic and brilliant advice, and that got me through it, so I could actually make it work.
Oh, there we are. It says Phil's using wireless head tracking with the LRS backpack and HD0 goggles. So there's a few options out there. Obviously, if you really want a specific, highly complex solution, then it usually involves a bit of legwork. But but has a lot of disk drift issues. There you are. Okay.
Yeah, the backpack does seem to work with my goggles because it comes up with SPI mode on the goggles, but when I go to change channel via the OSD, it just doesn't automatically jump, and I don't understand why.
The problem is that
it's one or the other.
It doesn't play nicely if you use a different way of changing it. So it's like, if you're using the backpack, then you have to use the backpack or the radio to do it. If you start messing around with the OSD, which I noticed, like halfway through, the backpack will say, "Whoa, you're on the wrong channel."
That's exactly what I had.
What's happening?
That's why I waited until Skylink did. Skyzone did their own goggles module with the backpack built in, because a lot of them say, well, to get this working properly, you've got to chop these pins out and then connect the backpack, because if you don't chop those pins out and you try and use the buttons, it just goes haywire. So it's like backpack or buttons. But with Skyzone, they built it directly into their own goggle module. So you just upgraded one of the boards, and then the goggles had ELRS backpack built in. And because it was properly integrated into the system instead of just bunged on the side, it worked with the buttons as well as via backpack.
I actually ended up taking mine out when I moved to my HD0 goggles, mostly because I mostly fly by myself, and all my stuff's on R1. Unless I'm with someone else, then I might change it. So it's not
what
like
a coincidence. All my stuff's on R1 as well, Carrie. We should go flying someday.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's see. I use one of my 10-watt systems. Let's see who gets the picture.
Have either of you two ever done like the lone model thing? I've seen that
the
thing.
Bump
and I've
model.
never.
It had a bump sensor, so you'd tap radios, didn't it? And then it would hand over the pairing to the other radio. It was nuts. I don't think many people used it. It was just like, hey, we've got this sensor in here that can
You've got
detect
this feature. Why not?
bumps. Why not?
It's I don't think there's that many people who say, fly this, go on, really go for it. I was like, I can't have Jack fly one of mine.
Why don't you just take this and figure out what all my channel mappings are? I'm sure you could just guess what my channel mappings are. No, don't take my radio. It's my radio. Here, just take the model from this radio and then guess at what all the channel mappings are. Do it that way. No one does that, right? It's just
I was going to say, it sounds fucking mental.
Yeah. Because you always go into a flying club and everyone's got their radios configured exactly the same way with the same channel mappings for arming's more fixed now, but you'd have weird shit like changing your flight mode on one switch, then someone else put it on a completely different switch, and so on and so forth.
Maybe that's why these flying clubs like these radios that don't allow you to use different switches for stuff. It's like, which is your dual rate switch? Oh, it's that one labeled dual rates. It's like, there you go.
And the gear switch, I haven't had that since my bloody Turnigy 9X. Cole, you're so lucky you don't have to deal with that stuff, mate.
Yeah, I don't even know what the heck you guys are talking about. That's why I've been so quiet.
Stephen, we have to meet up and get the old historical quad, because I think I
Yes.
found even older ESCs to put on it now to make it just that
Why-
little bit worse.
Why are you hitting yourself?
By my
Why are you
Clean
hitting
Flight quad,
yourself?
It's still up there.
Yeah. I still need some Cobra motors though. That's the only thing I'm like holding out for.
Need is an
Cobra
interesting.
2300 kV.
I've
Motors.
still
I've
got
got
a quad
3
with
of them.
Cobras on it.
Have
In
you?
fact, I think I put it on that. Do you remember that stupid quad, which is the arms in just a line? I think the Cobra motors are on that at the moment.
Which you donate
You are
them.
allowed to buy new motors. Like it's allowed. You can
No.
just have an old frame and put new motors on it.
We've got to
That's
make
allowed.
a shit quad and make Cold fly it and be like, enjoy. Like,
I
this
want to
is what-
know because I've got a box of lots
Wrestle
of
it.
motors.
All
All
into the
different.
air.
Can I just put different motors and different size props
Yeah.
on and expect something to fly? I think
Mm.
that'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
so Caroline's like, I just have one quad configuration on the radio, simples. Yeah. Welcome to the solipsism of the lone flyer, Caroline. Other people probably also have just one quad configuration on the radio, but I bet they like put the flying mode switch on where you've got the beeper, for example, and they probably put the beeper on something that you don't even have on your radio. And if you swap radios, chaos. Be like, I can't take off because it's just sitting there beeping at me. Stop it. Ah.
I have 4 models for a quad, only because there's a 2.4 and an 868, and then each of them have a GPS or a non-GPS variant where I use the switches slightly differently.
Bye, Blades.
I just leave GPS and everything like bound to a high channel. I've got enough channels that I don't need them. Don't need all the channels.
Yeah, this will drive Stephen nuts. Bi-blades.
I've got
Hello.
bi-blades. I've got bi-blades, boy. It's fine.
But you haven't got any
Not many
Genpan
of them.
5030s. That's what you need.
Yeah, I do.
Don't make me
I
open
do.
the prop drawer,
I've
guys.
got 2 sets, and they're on my bathroom floor.
They can bend like this.
What do we have here? Oh, hang on a minute.
Has anyone got the old original HQ glass fiber ones that like
What are those? Those look
explode?
like they could be in the
Did you give me
ballpark.
any of them, Jack?
No. No, I'm not that cruel. That would drive you nuts.
You did
I
give me
used
some
to-
like bullnose ones or something.
Yeah.
D226. Close then. So you wanted specifically 5030s.
Yeah.
5536.
They've got to be super flexible.
Oh,
Made
Dom,
out of tissue paper.
HQs. No, there's not really one.
hit me up.
Ah, Gemfan 4934. Spang. Those were awful props.
Were they bad?
you want
I
your-
have them. I never use them. I got them at Drone Fest, I think.
Do you get annoyed that your motors are not hot enough and that your batteries last too long?
Hmm.
Try Spang.
Dom's got a Acro TBS Disco. The Acro
An
Disco.
Acro TBS Disco.
Yeah.
That seems like an oxymoron. I don't understand how people are acroing that.
I don't either, but he did. And he was calling Mr. Steele out, and that's what I remember. Dom, you're
Oh,
welcome
no.
to
Spicy.
post that link if you've got it.
Is it on NASA? Because it should
No.
be if it's. Oh, that's no
It's
fun,
free
is it?
Excuse me.
He reckons he's still got it in a closet somewhere and hasn't touched it since.
Oh, I suppose like fixed wing people, when they've got like actually different rates they need that they can't set on the model, that makes more sense having a model for each. But obviously with quads, you're just like, yeah, I'll just map that on the flight controller.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
I do remember. See, I was there. It's like when
It
people
makes sense.
bang on about D-Shot. I was there when it was written. Or
I
I was there
do-
when it was still. It was basically from the LED configure.
I do remember when we started flying like on NASA, like about 12, 13 years ago, and one of my friends would I'd say accurate. What it means, he could do a loop, and it took about 4 seconds to go over, and we're like, wow, look at that. It's amazing.
Oh.
I'm not doing that. It's too scary.
Well,
get
if
a lot
you
of height.
if any of the viewers that aren't Patreons want to join the Patreon, Jack and I have a few bonus pods where we're going through the history of FPV, and I'm learning all about the fun good old days. So
He
Yeah.
learned about Juzz, the last one.
I did.
Good old
I learned
Jazz.
about
Good stuff.
all the good stuff. Which I was giving Jack shit though the other day because I was like, Jack, if this guy's quad is flying smooth in 2013, 2014, why is yours not in 2025? I said, there's something. I mean, you need to get a 3D printed GoPro mount, not a hard wedge, because
I know.
that is going to.
That's
It's like
just people putting in more effort. Do you remember a guy called Ycopter, who was a tricopter flyer?
first guest on LDO.
No way.
He was super smooth, but he took so much time over like
He was
his
using
tuning stuff.
earplugs. He was using earplugs to attach his.
I was using earplugs, but my stuff didn't fly as well as his.
Yeah, I like Wycopter. He was a good dude. He was like one of the last people to get permission to fly on National Trust.
No way.
He's probably one of the last people to actually ask.
Well, it's pretty pointless now, but yeah, you should listen to. There is a Wycopter episode, Cole. You could tune in, and I think it was pre-recorded interview as well. Balance your props. Balance you props. Yep.
Props don't last long enough to balance them. That's my
Mhm.
excuse.
You're doing it wrong if you need to slow down and balance the props.
Yeah, that's
just beat the air and
definitely a
just
thing of the
mission.
past, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, Cole, if you want frustration if you mind you, you can calibrate a gimbal though.
I
But,
can easily
you
with
know.
my eyes closed and just by hearing it and feeling it, I can get No, I'm
And
not
you-
trying to toot my own horn here, but I is that PID tuning? Is that basically PID tuning?
No, it means you're on the spectrum. Yeah. it means-
Yeah. Yeah, it's camera gimbals are actually not that hard to calibrate if you have the software and you just put force on each axis and keep upping the power until it starts vibrating, then dial it back a bit. All right, next axis, start banging on
Okay.
it until it's,
Yeah. Did you get him to try and do that gimbal you had all that
Makes
time?
sense.
The nasty one on the
the-
big quad.
Was it what was the name of it? The guy
Storm.
It makes a lot of sense the way you described it there, Cole, where you just like find the point where you can saturate the motor and then back it off a bit.
Yeah, that's how I always do it. I learned it a long time ago from some guy on YouTube where he said to do it a certain way, but I just started like putting force on it more than he was saying to do, and it always worked out. And you always see all these people saying, "Oh yeah, just do the auto tune setting and it'll be good," but like it never gives good results. I always stuck to the bang on the axis until it starts vibrating after you've upped the power, back off the power, move on.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're just finding the limit the motor can deliver and then back off a bit to stay within safe tolerance, and then
Yep.
you're good. Sounds
Literally.
awesome. Great.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice. Right, unfortunately, that is all we got time for. The show is sponsored and helped out by all the lovely patrons. If you enjoy the show, we'd appreciate it. It helps us keep us running. And if you want to listen to the show with the vicinity of potential customers or loved ones, and they don't like the swear words, you can find a nice cleaned up, level adjusted, swear word beeped, more coherent on your favorite platforms that you enjoy podcasts on. It's like SoundCloud, rest in peace Stitcher,
Yep.
iTunes.
And as
Or
I heard, give us a
Spotify.
thumbs up. If you don't like it, make sure to, give us the thumbs down twice. So it
Twice.
really counts. Always
Yeah.
twice if you really don't like it. Just
Yeah.
remember that. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you want to help out the show and you haven't got any money, leave us a positive review on our iTunes review page.
Or just leave a
because that'll
comment
help.
on the videos too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that helps. Like, comment, subscribe. You've been joined by the usual idiots of LDO. That's everyone's favourite curry kitten.
Oh, wow.
Here I am. Bye.
And the man with the moustache, Stephen.
UK's best drone podcast.
Yep.
Fourth best.
The greatest mod ever, 0FPV in the chat. Koala FPV. Some new videos coming out soon.
See ya. Oh, whoa. What? I didn't know that was what? How did that happen?
Professional.
I actually didn't know. Wait, oh, okay. I'm learning.
And I've been bright until I fly. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. Thank you.
He's the
Good
camera
night.
guy.
Bye.
Bye.